I thought I'd do a really quick video tutorial as to how to add your Google Doc to your Google site. So first things first, I'll have you pull up the document that we're going to be embedding or linking onto your Google site. Because the first thing we need to make sure is that for the permissions, that people will have view options to it. So to change the permissions, and I think we've talked about this before, we click Share in the top right corner. Now notice this one is only private to me. Well, that's not good if I'm putting it on a site, so I need to change that. We're going to select Change on the right-hand side, and I want anyone with a link can view. Now you're going to have a few more options on yours. For example, anyone in the Sacred Heart domain can view, or anyone can edit. Either way, you want to make sure, because parents on your site are not going to have accounts through your school, make sure that anyone with the link can view. Once you've selected that, click Save, and then we will click Done. So now anyone with this link can view it. I'm going to go over to my Google site. And so now we have two options as to how to add this to my Google site. I need to turn my pencil on, so editing on. And off to the left, we have the Insert button. So we'll select Insert. Off under the Google column is one called Drive, and we'll go to Document. Now from here, this is the one that I have last modified because we changed the permissions on it, and so it shows up in my list. If yours does not show up in your list right here, you can always search for it in this search bar. But in this case, mine shows up, so I'm going to click on it so that it is selected and click Select. Right before it goes in or inserts this Google document, you have some options. So first, if maybe this isn't the document that you want, you can select Change. Under Display, we want to make sure that there's a border around it. It just kind of gives the readers a clearer image as to how long that document is. You can also change the title. You do not have to include the title if you check or uncheck that box. And then for height and width, I always keep it at the default because it's perfect for Google Sites just as the default sets. So I'm going to click Save. And notice how it doesn't actually show up as a doc quite yet. It's just a preview box. Now, underneath it you have some other settings. I like to align mine center. Just for visual, I don't know, I just like doing that. You can choose whether you want to keep it left, center, or right. And then once I click Save, that document is now going to show up. So this is how to add the preview window of any document that you have on Google Drive. So to recap, we started out on the original document, went Share, made sure that this said View, and if you remember it said Private, I had to go click Change and make sure anyone with a link can view. We clicked Save and went right over to our Google site. On the Google site, we made sure that editing was on. We selected Insert, Drive, and pulled over. In this case, we had a document and selected a document. It was the first one, and we clicked Select. I won't do it again because it'll add it twice. Okay. We click Save. You can now see the newsletter as is. Another option for adding Google Docs to a website. Let's say that you don't want it actually embedded in, and embedded meaning in this huge document previewer. There's another way you can also save it. So in this case, I'm going to go to the bottom here. So this is, I'm going to call this one the Spiro doc. Spiro. And in this case, I just want to add the link to it. I don't want to actually see it. I want people to actually click on it to go to it. So that's example number 2. To do that, I typed in the title, and I'm just going to call this one Spiro. We're going to actually go back to the document, And now we need to get that link. And remember, we just went to share and it pops up with a link. Let's copy that. And we're going to highlight the words that we want the link to be. Select link from the toolbar up at the top. First, we need to select web address from the left-hand side, and we paste it in. Personally, I like to have open this link in a new window because what it does is it opens a new tab, and then it's easier just to get back to my website after I look at the document. I will click OK and save. So this is what the two options look like. The top one was under the Insert button when you turn the editing on, and it gives you a preview window that you can scroll down. It's very much like PDFs sometimes we see on websites. The second option is just a link to the document. To use it, readers would have to go over to it, click on it. Notice how it opened in a brand new window, and then it'll load on the page. So another way of looking at this too, notice how much longer my Google Doc is taking to load versus just seeing it right on the web page. So a couple things to think about, and it might be a bad connection on my part too. So disregard that. Anyway, I hope this helps, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Thanks.